As the human fleet prepared to depart with their prisoners, Commander Mitchell invited the Cathari crew aboard her ship, the Retribution. What they discovered there expanded their understanding of humanity's presence in the galaxy beyond anything they had imagined. The bridge of the human warship was a marvel of efficient design. Multiple workstations coordinated activities across dozens of star systems. Holographic displays showed shipping routes, patrol schedules, and active operations throughout their entire galactic region. "This is remarkable," Captain Zethka observed, studying the scope of the displays. "You're monitoring activities across hundreds of worlds simultaneously." Lieutenant Commander Mitchell nodded as she guided them through the ship's operations center. "Earth has been establishing a protection network throughout this entire spiral arm of the galaxy. What Marcus showed you at the mining station is just one small part of a much larger operation." Engineer Voss examined the communication systems. "The coordination required for this level of coverage must involve thousands of personnel." "Actually, it's more like hundreds," Mitchell replied. "Humans are efficient. We've learned to accomplish more with fewer resources by working smarter rather than harder." Navigator Kickstall studied the tactical displays showing human positions throughout nearby space. "I count over 40 human vessels operating in this sector alone. How many ships does Earth have in space?" "That's classified," Mitchell said with a smile. "But let's just say we believe in being thorough." Communications Officer Trowell accessed the ship's database with Mitchell's permission. "I'm seeing records of interactions with over 60 different species. Earth has made contact with most of the known intelligent civilizations in this region of the galaxy." "Informal contact," Mitchell clarified. "We're not diplomats, we're security specialists. Our job is to keep space safe for everyone while the politicians work out the formal relationships." Medical Officer Neith examined the ship's medical bay, which was equipped to treat an extraordinary variety of alien physiologies. "This medical facility rivals the best hospitals in Cathari space. How did you acquire such comprehensive knowledge of xenobiology?" "Experience," Mitchell replied. "When you're providing emergency assistance to dozens of different species, you learn what you need to know to keep people alive." The tour revealed that the human ship was essentially a mobile command center for security operations across multiple star systems. They maintained detailed intelligence on criminal organizations, tracked suspicious activities, and coordinated rescue operations throughout their assigned sector. "The pirates you just captured," Captain Zethka said. "They're not the only criminal organization you're tracking, are they?" Mitchell brought up a holographic display showing criminal network analysis. "We're currently monitoring 17 different pirate groups, 12 smuggling operations, and 6 slave trading networks. Each one requires different tactics to neutralize." Engineer Voss studied the complexity of the tracking systems. "This level of intelligence gathering requires cooperation from multiple sources. How do you obtain information across so many different worlds?" "Grateful merchants talk," Mitchell explained. "When you help someone out of a bad situation, they tend to share information about other problems they've encountered." The scale of human operations became even more apparent when Mitchell showed them the ship's manufacturing capabilities. The Retribution carried fabrication equipment capable of producing spare parts for dozens of different alien technologies. "We've reverse-engineered compatible components for most major ship systems," Mitchell explained. "When someone needs emergency repairs, we can usually provide what they need." Navigator Kickstall realized the implications. "You're not just patrolling space, and you're creating infrastructure, supply networks, repair facilities, intelligence gathering, security operations." "Someone needs to," Mitchell replied. "Space is big and dangerous. Most species are focused on their own local concerns. Humans are looking at the bigger picture." Communications Officer Trowell intercepted routine communications between human vessels. "I'm monitoring coordination between ships across multiple sectors. The scope of these operations spans thousands of light years. Earth believes in taking responsibility," Mitchell said. "If we want to be part of the galactic community, we need to contribute to making it work for everyone." Medical Officer Neith accessed medical database files. "I'm seeing treatment protocols for species I've never heard of. How many different civilizations are you actively protecting?" "Define protecting," Mitchell replied. We provide emergency assistance to anyone who needs it, regardless of species or political affiliation. Sometimes that means medical aid, sometimes rescue operations, sometimes dealing with threats like the pirates. Engineer Voss examined the ship's power systems. The energy requirements for this level of activity must be enormous. How does Earth support such extensive operations? Efficiently, Mitchell said. Earth has learned to do more with less. We've also established trade relationships with grateful civilizations. Good deeds tend to pay for themselves over time. The Cathari crew began to understand that their rescue hadn't been a chance encounter. They had entered a region of space where human vessels maintained constant patrols, where communication networks monitored distress signals, and where rescue operations were coordinated across multiple star systems. Captain Zethka, Mitchell said, "When you return to Cathari space, your government will probably want to know about human activities in this region. What should we tell them?" she asked. "The truth," Mitchell replied, "that Earth is working to make space safer for everyone. We're not looking for territory or political control. We just want to ensure that families like yours can travel safely." Navigator Kixtel studied the patrol routes displayed on the tactical screens. "Your coverage patterns ensure that no ship can be more than 6 hours away from potential assistance. The coordination required for this level of protection is staggering." "It's what we do," Mitchell said simply. "Humans protect people. It's not complicated." As they prepared to return to their own ship, Communications Officer Trowell had one final question. "Commander, why doesn't Earth make these operations public? The galaxy should know about the protection you're providing." Mitchell considered the question carefully. "Because the moment we start taking credit for what we do, it becomes about politics instead of helping people. We'd rather just do the work." Marcus rejoined them as they prepared to leave the human ship. "Your course home is clear, Captain. We'll maintain patrols along your route until you reach Cathari space." "Will we see you again?" Captain Zethka asked. "Probably not," Marcus replied. "But you'll know we're out here if you need us." As the Silent Wind prepared to depart the mining station, their sensors detected multiple incoming vessels. Navigator Kixtel's antennae drooped with alarm as she identified the signatures. "Captain, 6 ships approaching fast. Configuration matches Kazreth raiders. The same pirates from before, but they've brought reinforcements." Marcus, who had been preparing to undock his own vessel, immediately changed course and headed for the station's command center. They must have called for backup. This is going to get complicated. Through the communication system, angry Kazreth voices demanded the immediate surrender of the station and all vessels present. The universal translator conveyed threats of violence and promises of slavery for any who resisted. Engineer Voss monitored the approaching fleet. 6 heavy raiders against 1 human ship and 1 damaged exploration vessel. "Marcus, we should attempt to flee while we still can." "Negative," Marcus replied from the command center. "Your ship isn't built for combat maneuvering, and my ship can't outrun 6 raiders. We make our stand here." Captain Zethka felt her heart sink. "Marcus, we cannot ask you to sacrifice yourself for us. You should take your ship and escape while you can." "That's not how humans work, Captain. We don't abandon people who need help." What happened next challenged everything the Cathari thought they knew about space combat. Instead of powering up the station's minimal defensive systems, Marcus began broadcasting on multiple frequencies. "Attention all vessels in this sector. This is Captain Marcus Chen of Earth Vessel Wanderer. I'm declaring this area under Earth protection. Any hostile actions against vessels under my protection will be considered acts of war against humanity." Communications Officer Trowell monitored the broadcasts. "Marcus, you're transmitting to empty space. There are no other ships in range to assist us. Are you sure about that?" Marcus asked. The pirate fleet had closed to within weapons range and began demanding immediate surrender. Their leader's voice carried confidence and arrogance as he outlined the tortures planned for the station's defenders. Marcus's response was calm and measured. "Kazreth Fleet Commander, this is your final warning. Withdraw from this sector immediately or face the consequences." The pirate leader's laughter echoed through the communication system. His threats became more graphic and detailed. "I tried to be reasonable," Marcus said with what sounded like genuine regret. "Computer execute Protocol 7. Suddenly, the space around the mining station came alive with activity. What had appeared to be asteroids and debris began moving with purpose. Hidden throughout the asteroid field, camouflaged human vessels revealed themselves. "This is Lieutenant Commander Sarah Mitchell of Earth Defense Ship Retribution," a new voice announced. "Kazreth vessels, you are surrounded. Stand down immediately." The Cathari crew watched in amazement as 12 human ships materialized from their hiding places among the asteroids. They had been there all along, perfectly concealed and waiting. Engineer Voss studied the sensor readings. "Impossible. How long have they been there?" "Our sensors showed nothing but natural space debris." "About 3 weeks," Marcus replied. "We've been tracking this particular pirate fleet since they started raiding shipping in the outer systems. This was always going to be their next target." The Kazreth pirates found themselves outnumbered 2-1 by vessels that appeared to be significantly more advanced than their own ships. Weapon systems that had been hidden activated, revealing defensive capabilities that far exceeded anything the pirates possessed. "You set a trap," Captain Zethka realized. "You used this station as bait to draw the pirates into an ambush." "The pirates were becoming a serious threat to civilian shipping," Marcus explained. "Sometimes the only way to deal with predators is to hunt them down and eliminate them." The pirate fleet attempted to flee, but found their escape routes blocked by human vessels that moved with coordinated precision. It wasn't just superior technology, it was superior tactics and planning. "Kazreth vessels, this is Commander Mitchell. Cut your engines and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will be met with appropriate force." One of the pirate ships opened fire on the nearest human vessel. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Multiple human ships focused their fire on the attacking raider, reducing it to debris in seconds. The remaining pirates surrendered immediately. Medical Officer Neath watched the tactical display in fascination. "The coordination between your ships is remarkable. How do you achieve such precise group tactics?" "Humans have been fighting wars for thousands of years," Marcus replied. "We've learned that individual courage is important, but coordinated action wins battles." As human boarding parties secured the pirate vessels, Marcus provided commentary that revealed the depth of planning behind the operation. "We've been monitoring Kazreth communications for months. We knew they were planning to establish a permanent base in this sector. The abandoned mining station was the obvious choice for their operations. Communications Officer Trowell intercepted the tactical communications between human ships. Their planning included detailed intelligence on each pirate vessel, crew complements, weapons capabilities, and even individual commander profiles." "Know your enemy," Marcus said. Another old human principle. Engineer Voss analyzed the human ship's performance. "Your vessels appear to have been specifically modified for anti-piracy operations. Enhanced sensors, improved weaponry, specialized boarding equipment. Earth takes the protection of trade routes seriously." Commander Mitchell's voice joined the conversation. "Pirates threaten everyone's prosperity and security." As the last of the pirates were secured, Captain Zethka realized the full scope of what they had witnessed. The humans weren't just individual explorers helping stranded travelers. They were operating a comprehensive security network, designed to protect civilian shipping across multiple star systems. "How many operations like this are you conducting?" she asked. "Classified," Marcus replied, but his tone suggested the number was significant. Commander Mitchell's ship docked with the station, and the human commander came aboard to coordinate the prisoner transfer. She was taller than Marcus, with the same confident bearing and intelligent eyes. "Captain Zethka," she said, "we apologize for using your situation as part of our operation. Your genuine distress made perfect bait for drawing the pirates into our trap." "You knew we were coming?" Engineer Voss asked. "We've been monitoring distress signals throughout this sector," Mitchell replied. "When Marcus reported your situation, we realized it provided the perfect opportunity to deal with the pirate problem." Navigator Kiekstal studied the tactical aftermath. "The entire engagement lasted less than 30 minutes. You eliminated a threat that has been plaguing this region for months. Humans don't like bullies," Marcus said simply. "Whether they're threatening individual ships or entire trade routes, the response is the same." Inside the mining station, the Cathari crew discovered that Marcus had not been entirely truthful about his previous visits. The facility showed clear signs of human modification and maintenance. Storage areas had been reorganized. Equipment had been upgraded, and most significantly, there were supplies clearly marked with Earth symbols. Marcus, Captain Zethka examined a crate labeled in human writing. How long have you actually been operating from this station? Marcus ran his hand through his hair. A gesture they were learning indicated mild embarrassment. About 8 months. When I found it abandoned, I realized it could serve as a supply depot for rescue operations in this sector. I've been slowly moving equipment here from Earth supply ships. Engineer Voss studied the fuel pumping systems. These modifications are extensive. You've essentially rebuilt the entire fueling operation to handle multiple ship types. This represents months of work. Lonely work too, Marcus admitted, checking the fuel flow to their tanks. But necessary. This region of space is becoming a major shipping lane. Ships get into trouble and there's nowhere to go for help. I figured someone should be prepared. Communications Officer Trowell accessed the station's computer systems. I'm finding maintenance logs going back 7 months. Marcus, you've rescued 17 different vessels from 12 different species. Why haven't you reported these contacts to your superiors on Earth? Marcus paused in his work, choosing his words carefully. Earth's government wants to make formal contact with alien civilizations through official diplomatic channels. Big ceremonies, treaties, cultural exchanges, all very proper and organized. And you disagree with this approach? Asked Medical Officer Nith. I think sometimes people just need help, regardless of politics, Marcus replied. A family of Zelrathi traders whose ship broke down doesn't care about formal diplomatic protocols. They just want to get home safely. Navigator Kixtel accessed more of the station's records. According to these logs, you've provided assistance to species from across this entire galactic arm. Some of these encounters involve significant danger to yourself. That's the job, Marcus said simply, continuing his work on their fuel systems. Captain Zethka studied the human more carefully. This isn't just exploration, is it? You've been deliberately establishing yourself as a rescue operation in this region of space. Marcus stopped working and looked directly at her. Captain, in the past year, I've encountered crashed ships, vessels damaged by pirates, crews lost in uncharted space, and ships crippled by equipment failures. Every single time, if I hadn't been here, people would have died. But you're acting without official sanction from your government, Engineer Voss pointed out. Doesn't this create problems for Earth's diplomatic efforts? Probably, Marcus admitted. But I've learned something about the galaxy in my time out here. There are a lot of good people trying to make honest livings, and there are a lot of bad people trying to take advantage of them. The good people need someone looking out for them. Medical Officer Nith examined the station's medical bay, which had been expanded and equipped with supplies suitable for multiple species. This medical facility could treat dozens of different physiologies. You've clearly studied alien biology extensively. When you're the only help available, you learn what you need to learn, Marcus explained. I've got medical databases from every species I've encountered. Basic field medicine translates across most carbon-based life forms. The scope of Marcus's operation began to dawn on the Cathari crew. This wasn't a single human exploring space. This was a comprehensive rescue and assistance network operated by one individual. The pirates who were here, Communications Officer Trowell said. They knew who you were. They referred to you by name in their transmissions. Marcus nodded grimly. Word gets around. Most of the criminal element in this sector knows to avoid stations under Earth protection. It's easier than dealing with the consequences. What consequences? Captain Zethka asked. Humans don't forget, Marcus replied. We keep records. Pirates who attack rescue operations tend to find their other activities becoming much more difficult. Engineer Voss was studying the station's power systems. These modifications would require specialized knowledge of multiple technology types. How did you acquire expertise in Vorthak, Zelrathi, Kazreth, and now Cathari systems? Necessity, Marcus said. Every species I help teaches me something new. I ask questions, study their equipment, learn their needs. After a while, you start seeing the patterns. Navigator Kixtel pulled up star charts showing the surrounding region. I'm counting 47 different worlds within a reasonable distance of this station. You've positioned yourself at a strategic crossroads of galactic trade routes. That wasn't an accident, Marcus confirmed. This location allows me to respond to emergencies across multiple shipping lanes. Maximum coverage with minimal travel time. The implications were staggering. A single human had established himself as a one-man rescue operation, covering a significant portion of their galactic neighborhood. He had learned multiple alien languages, studied dozens of different technologies, and created a supply network capable of helping any species that encountered difficulties. Marcus, Captain Zethka said slowly. How many other humans are doing what you're doing? In this sector, just me. But Earth has other explorers in other regions. We're not all operating rescue stations, but we're all out here making contact and providing assistance where needed. Without official government backing? Medical Officer Knight asked. Sometimes the best diplomacy happens one person at a time, Marcus replied. Treaties and formal agreements are important, but they're built on trust. Trust comes from individuals helping each other when help is needed. As their fuel tanks reached capacity, the Cathari crew realized they had encountered something unprecedented. Humans weren't just another spacefaring species exploring the galaxy. They were actively working to make space safer for everyone, operating on principles of assistance and mutual aid that transcended political boundaries. Your fuel tanks are full, Marcus announced. I've also topped off your emergency reserves and loaded some spare parts that might be useful for the journey home. Captain Zethka looked at the supplies Marcus had freely provided. How can we repay this assistance? Marcus smiled. Tell your people about this station. If any Cathari ships run into trouble in this region, they'll know where to find help. That's payment enough. The journey to the abandoned mining station revealed more about their human rescuer than the Cathari crew had expected. Marcus piloted his small ship alongside their vessel, with precision that bordered on the supernatural, navigating through asteroid fields and gravitational anomalies as if he had traveled these routes countless times. Marcus, Captain Zethka spoke through the communication link. How many times have you been to this mining station? This will be my 4th visit, came the reply. I've been using it as a way station during my exploration runs. The previous miners, a species called the Vorthak, built solid infrastructure before commodity prices forced them to relocate. Engineer Voss monitored their escort's movements on the sensors. The human ship's maneuvers were so smooth and efficient that it seemed almost like a natural extension of Marcus himself. Captain, observe his flight pattern. He's not just following a programmed course. He's actively reading the space around us and adjusting in real time. Through the viewports, they could see Marcus's ship weaving between floating debris and space rocks, with movements that seemed almost dance-like. The Wanderer would dip below a drifting asteroid, then arc gracefully around a chunk of frozen gases, all while maintaining perfect formation with the much larger Cathari vessel. I'm picking up the station on long-range sensors, Navigator Kickstal reported. But Marcus, there's something unusual about the readings. The station appears to be powered up and active. Marcus's voice came back immediately, but now carried a note of concern. That's not right. The Vorthak shut everything down when they left. Hold position while I investigate. They watched as the human ship accelerated ahead, its sensors sweeping the area around the mining station. The facility was massive, a complex of interconnected modules and processing plants built into several large asteroids. What should have been a dark, abandoned structure was instead lit with active power signatures. I'm detecting 3 ships docked at the station, Marcus reported. Configuration unknown, but they're not Vorthak. Looks like someone's moved in since my last visit. Medical Officer Nith studied the sensor readings. Could they be salvagers? Many species scavenge abandoned facilities for valuable materials. Possibly, Marcus replied. But I'm reading weapon signatures. These aren't civilian salvage ships. I'm going in for a closer look. The Cathari crew watched in amazement as Marcus's tiny ship approached the station with bold confidence. Any reasonable being would have retreated when faced with unknown vessels, but the humans seemed to view this as merely another problem to solve. Marcus, this is dangerous, Captain Zethka transmitted. Those ships could be hostile. You should maintain a safe distance. Can't do that, Captain. You need fuel, and this station has it. Besides, I've dealt with claim jumpers before. Communications. Officer Trowell intercepted transmissions from the station. I'm picking up chatter between the unknown vessels. The universal translator is struggling, but it appears to be some form of trade language. They're discussing cargo transfers. Marcus's ship had now approached close enough to visually identify the intruders. Well, this is interesting. His voice carried a mixture of amusement and determination. Looks like we've got ourselves some Kazreth pirates. They're known for setting up temporary bases in abandoned facilities. Engineer Voss accessed the ship's database on known hostile species. Khazreth pirates are notoriously aggressive. They're known to attack any vessel that approaches their operations. Marcus, you must retreat immediately. Instead of withdrawing, Marcus's ship moved even closer to the station. Here's what's going to happen. His voice came through the communication system with calm authority. I'm going to dock at the station and have a conversation with these pirates. They're going to leave and we're going to get your fuel. That's suicide, whispered Navigator Kickstall. One small ship against 3 pirate vessels? They watched in disbelief as Marcus actually docked with the mining station, his ship attaching to an airlock as casually as if he were visiting a friendly port. The pirate vessels immediately began powering up their weapon systems, but Marcus's voice remained calm on the communication channel. Khazreth vessels, this is Captain Marcus Chen of the Earth ship Wanderer. I'm here to collect supplies from this station. I suggest you complete your business and move along. The pirate response came as angry, guttural sounds that the universal translator rendered as crude threats and demands for Marcus to leave immediately. The Cathari crew expected to see the human ship destroyed at any moment. Instead, something extraordinary happened. Marcus had entered the station and was apparently having a face-to-face conversation with the pirates. Through the station's communication systems, they could hear fragments of the discussion. You see, Marcus's voice carried clearly, this station has been under Earth protection for the past 6 months. I've been maintaining it as an emergency way station for distressed vessels. Now you can either leave peacefully, or I can make things unpleasant for everyone. The pirate leader's response was a series of threatening growls. The translation software indicated challenges to combat and claims of superior firepower. I understand you feel that way, Marcus replied with what sounded like genuine sympathy. But here's the thing about humans. We're very good at making problems go away permanently. I'd rather we kept this friendly. Medical Officer Neath monitored the station's internal sensors. I'm reading 4 Khazreth life signs and 1 human. Marcus appears to be outnumbered 4-1 in direct confrontation. What happened next defied all logical expectations. Within 20 minutes, the 3 pirate ships began undocking from the station. Marcus's voice came through the communication system again, sounding slightly tired but satisfied. Station's clear, Captain Zethka. Feel free to approach the main docking bay. I'll have the fuel pumps ready for you. As they approached the now vacant station, Engineer Voss conducted detailed scans. No weapons fire detected, no signs of struggle. The pirates simply left. How? Captain Zethka asked when Marcus met them at the airlock. How did you convince armed pirates to abandon their base without a fight? Marcus shrugged, that peculiar human gesture they were beginning to recognize. Sometimes the reputation for being willing to fight is more effective than actually fighting. Humans have been dealing with bullies for a long time. We've learned that most of them back down when someone stands up to them. Marcus Chen studied the star charts displayed on the Cathari navigation console, his blue eyes moving across the alien symbols with surprising comprehension. The crew watched in amazement as he seemed to decode their language and mathematics within minutes. Your home system is the Cathari Prime Cluster, correct? Marcus asked, pointing to a section of space that appeared blank on their current charts. About 47 light-years in that direction? Navigator Kickstall's antennae twitched in disbelief. How could you possibly know that? Our charts show nothing but empty space in our current location. Marcus smiled, an expression that somehow conveyed reassurance despite being completely alien to the Cathari. I've been mapping this region for the past 3 years. See, Earth sent me out here to explore and make contact with other civilizations. You're actually the first intelligent species I've encountered. Engineer Voss approached the human cautiously. But your ship is so small, so primitive. How can one being survive alone in space for 3 years? Practice, I guess. Marcus chuckled, pulling out a small device from his pocket. This is a portable star chart. I've been plotting stellar positions and creating navigation routes throughout this sector. Your people must have gotten caught in the Maelstrom Nebula's gravitational wake. It's been dragging ships off course for months. The human's device projected a 3-dimensional map of the surrounding space, complete with gravitational fields, stellar positions, and marked hazards. The detail was extraordinary, showing information that would have taken Cathari survey teams years to collect. Impossible, breathed Captain Zethka. This level of detail would require a massive exploration fleet. How did you gather this data alone? Marcus gestured toward his ship. The Wanderer might look basic, but she's packed with sensors. Plus, humans are naturally curious. We like to poke around and see what's out there. Medical Officer Neath, who had been silent until now, stepped forward. Your physiology is fascinating. May I ask how your species evolved to survive in space? Your ship's life support seems minimal compared to ours. We're pretty adaptable, Marcus replied, checking readings on another device. Humans evolved as persistence hunters on our homeworld. We don't quit easily, and we're good at making do with limited resources. As if to demonstrate, Marcus began pulling various tools from his utility belt. Each item appeared crude by Kethari standards, yet he used them with masterful efficiency. A simple multi-tool became a precision instrument in his hands. A basic scanner provided detailed analysis of their ship's systems. Your navigation computer has corrupted data cores, Marcus announced after connecting his scanner to their main console. The nebula's electromagnetic field scrambled your memory banks, but I can reconstruct your course using the gravitational echoes still stored in your sensor logs. Communications. Officer Trowell watched in fascination as the humans' fingers danced across their control interfaces. How do you understand our technology? Our systems are completely different from yours. Engineering principles are universal, Marcus explained while working. Metal conducts electricity the same way everywhere. Gravity affects mass regardless of who built the ship. Once you understand the basics, the rest is just problem solving. Within hours, Marcus had not only repaired their navigation system, but had improved its efficiency. He rerouted power conduits, optimized their sensor arrays, and even fixed a minor issue with their artificial gravity that the crew hadn't realized was causing their recent fatigue. There's something I don't understand, Captain Zethka said as she watched Marcus work. Your species sends individuals alone into deep space. This suggests either incredible courage or complete disregard for personal safety. Marcus paused in his work, considering the question. Both, maybe. But mostly it's about responsibility. Earth is just one planet in a big galaxy. If we want to find our place in it, we need to understand what's out there. Someone has to take the first step. Engineer Voss examined Marcus's tools more closely. These implements appear primitive, yet you accomplish more with them than we could with our advanced equipment. How is this possible? Humans have a saying, Marcus replied, continuing his repairs. It's not the tool, it's the craftsman. We learn to work with what we have instead of waiting for perfect conditions. The humans' approach to problem-solving amazed the Kethari crew, where they would methodically analyze every variable before acting. Marcus seemed to intuitively understand systems and make rapid decisions. His solutions were often unconventional but remarkably effective. I've uploaded the corrected navigation data to your computers, Marcus announced. Your course home is plotted, but you'll need more fuel than your current reserves allow. The crew's hearts sank. They had hoped the human could solve all their problems, but fuel was something that couldn't be jury-rigged or improvised. Marcus noticed their disappointment and smiled again. Don't worry. I know where we can get what you need. There's an abandoned mining station about 6 hours from here. The miners left behind a fuel depot when they evacuated. Should be more than enough to get you home. How do you know about this station? Asked Navigator Kickstel. I make it my business to know these things, Marcus replied.
Space is dangerous enough without flying blind.
The miners abandoned the station when ore prices dropped, but they left it intact. Perfect for situations like this. As the human prepared to guide them to the fuel depot, the Kethari crew began to realize that their rescue was no accident. This lone human had been methodically exploring and mapping their region of space, gathering information and resources. He wasn't just wandering aimlessly. He was preparing for exactly these kinds of encounters. Captain Zethka's 3 hearts beat frantically as she watched the last of their fuel reserves drain away. The Kethari vessel, Silent Wind, had been drifting through the dark expanse of space for 17 cycles, far beyond any known star charts. What started as a routine exploration mission had turned into a nightmare when their navigation systems failed near an uncharted nebula. Captain, life support will fail in 6 hours, reported Engineer Voss, his blue-scaled hands trembling as he checked the readings again. The reptilian Kethari had evolved on a world with 3 suns, and the cold emptiness of space filled them with primal terror. The crew of 12 had already lost 2 members to the failing oxygen recyclers. Medical Officer Nith had done everything possible, But without replacement parts, they were fighting a losing battle. The ship's corridors echoed with the labored breathing of desperate beings. Suddenly, Navigator Kixtal's antennae perked up at her station. "Captain, I'm detecting something on long-range sensors." "It's unusual." Zethka rushed to the navigation console, her tail sweeping nervously across the deck. On the screen, a small craft appeared, unlike anything in their databases. It was primitive by Kethari standards, constructed of simple metals and basic alloys. The design seemed almost crude, yet it moved with purpose through the void. "The vessel appears to be of unknown origin," Kixtal reported, her compound eyes reflecting the dim emergency lighting. "But Captain, it's heading directly for us. How could it have detected our ship when we're running on minimal power?" The communications array crackled to life with an alien transmission. The universal translator struggled with the foreign language before finally producing words they could understand. "Unknown vessel. This is Captain Marcus Chen of the Earth ship Wanderer. We've detected your distress signature. Do you require assistance?" The Kethari crew exchanged bewildered glances. Earth? They had never heard of such a world. Yet here was someone offering help when they needed it most desperately. Zethka activated the communication system with shaking claws. "This is Captain Zethka of the Kethari exploration vessel Silent Wind. We are stranded and facing critical system failures. Our life support is failing." A pause followed, then the alien voice returned, somehow conveying warmth despite the cold metal of the communication system. "Understood, Captain. We're approaching your position now. Prepare for docking procedures. We'll get you out of there." Through the viewports, they watched as the primitive vessel maneuvered with surprising grace. As it drew closer, they could make out details of its construction. Solar panels extended like wings and various sensors dotted its hull. Most surprising was its size. It was barely larger than a Kethari shuttle, yet it had somehow detected them across the vast emptiness. "How is this possible?" whispered Communications Officer Trial. "That ship is so small, so basic. How did they find us when our own people cannot?" Engineer Voss ran new scans of the approaching vessel. "Captain, their technology reads as primitive, but there's something else. The ship appears to be operated by a single life form. One being is running that entire vessel." The implications sent a chill through the crew. What kind of species could operate complex machinery alone in the depths of space? What sort of creature would venture into the void by themselves? As the human ship drew alongside their vessel, they felt a gentle vibration through the hull as docking clamps engaged. The Wanderer had somehow perfectly matched their airlock configuration, despite never having encountered Kethari technology before. "Docking complete," came the voice from their unexpected savior. "I'm cycling through your airlock now. Fair warning, I might look a bit different from what you're used to." Zethka gathered her senior officers at the airlock, uncertain what to expect. The outer door hissed open, followed by the inner seal. What stepped through challenged everything they thought they knew about spacefaring civilizations. The creature was bipedal, shorter than a Kethari, but broader across the shoulders. Its skin was a strange peachy color, and short brown fur covered the top of its head. Most unsettling were its eyes, small, forward-facing, and an impossible blue color that seemed to hold depths of intelligence and something else they couldn't identify. "Captain Zethka, I presume." The being stepped forward without hesitation, extending a 5-fingered appendage. "I'm Marcus. Let's see what we can do about your situation." The human moved through their ship with confident strides, examining systems with practiced eyes. His hands worked over their controls as if he had built them himself, understanding alien technology with an ease that defied explanation. "Your oxygen recyclers are shot. But I can jury-rig a temporary fix," Marcus announced after a brief inspection. "I've got some spare parts on my ship that should work. Different tech base, but the principles are the same." As he worked, the human hummed softly to himself, a sound that somehow calmed the terrified crew. Within an hour, the recyclers were functioning again, buying them precious time. "There," Marcus said, wiping his hands on a cloth from his pocket. "That should hold for a few days. Now let's talk about getting you home."